Hey everyone, Tanner Bell here from makersgonnalearn.com. I'm super excited to be here on Auntie Tay's YouTube channel today because we are going to teach you an amazing Cricut project for beginners. We have Christmas in July today and we're making an amazing reverse canvas. Not only are we going to share with you all of our favorite tips and tricks for making a reverse canvas, but we're also talking about one of Auntie Tay's mystery boxes. We are going to use materials from one of the boxes you could receive to make this amazing project, and we are super excited. If you're a Cricut beginner, be sure to check out the links below to head on over to my YouTube channel to see all kinds of amazing videos teaching you how to use your Cricut machine today. But we are super excited for today's project. But before we get into it, let's take a minute and sort of see what's in our little box from Auntie Tay. You can see and get your very own box at the links below as well. And then we'll jump into what it takes to make a reverse canvas. So here's the box. This is how it'll come to you. On the other side, it'll have all of the shipping information and whatnot. But when you open it up, you can see here we've got an amazing array of material. So right out of the gate, you've got 3 different rolls. This looks to be some amazing glitter that you're going to love. I love this look. I don't see too many vinyls like this, so it's going to be really fun for you guys to use on your projects. She gives you some of her amazing transfer tape, which I am a huge fan of. As you guys know, you see me have a video just on using transfer tape. And then an awesome blue, so kind of like a winter wonderland. Aside from that, you get her glitter. Let's open this up. So you're going to get 3, I think these are her samples of glitter. You've got red or mermaid hair. And then this amazing blue. Look at this. Imagine the ornaments and whatnot you can do. And then you've kind of got this, it's called Minnie's Tea Party, but it's really like a rose gold, if you will, potentially. And guys, I could probably spend 10 minutes just, the Ziploc, the little bag it's in, is really cool to just hold around and move. So I'm probably going to spend like 10 minutes just looking at the glitters before I start making a project with it. But you can grab this, in there as well. And then what's really cool is that's not it. So after you take that away, you're going to get one of her HTV pattern packs. So this right here, this is the most wonderful time of year, so perfect for our Christmas in July. And you're going to get all of these sheets. Now, there's a few that's 8.5 by 11, and then there's the few that are 12 by 12. So let's just go ahead and open this up and grab it. And the last thing in the box is just your order confirmation. So anyway, you can see right here, what I love is that you get the iron-on settings for all the different items that could be in here. So the Easy Weed, the flocked, glitter, and patterned, all is right here for you. And then over here on the right, it lets you know what you're getting. So it looks like there's a few 7 by 12 inch pieces, 9 by 12, and 12 by 12. So that's really nice. There's no 8.5 by 11 pieces, but you get all the details right here. So the 12 by 7s would be some of these right here. So super cool. I'm super excited. We're going to be using just 2 sheets out of this. So honestly, this is such a great value. You're going to be able to make so many projects with this. So let's just go ahead, take this out, and you're going to be able to see all the amazing heat transfer vinyl. So since we're not going to play with all of these materials, I'm just going to take these and set it to the side. But we're going to talk more about this awesome pack of HTV. So right here, you can see the pattern pack. I love that you can get a really great idea of the pack from just looking, but it's also really nice to just see your HTV. This is going to be able to make so many projects. Super awesome. We love it. And what I'm thinking about doing today is I'm all about red glitter HTV. I don't know about you guys. But then she also has a few sheets back here that are patterns. So you could use this one. That's really nice. You could use the red. They've got a few blues. But then right back here, you've got an awesome little pattern that's wood grain with snowflakes, and I'm all about it. So we're going to pair the wood grain with snowflakes and the red glitter together to make an amazing reverse canvas. So let's go ahead and talk about what you need to make your reverse canvas. Supplies needed will be a die cutting machine of your choice. Today we're focusing on a Cricut. You'll be able to make this whether you have a Maker or an Explorer. Next up, again, the 2 pieces of HTV, one patterned and one glitter, which, just so you guys know, means there will be different cut settings for the different type of material. We'll talk about that later, but again, since we are making a reverse canvas, you'll need a canvas of your choice. These come in a few different sizes. I believe this one is about a 16 by 20 inch canvas, and what we're going to do is make it reverse. So you want to make sure it has a good frame on the back. I picked mine up at the craft stores. You'll need some type of iron, easy press, or heat press to actually activate the heat transfer adhesive. So we're using an easy press 9x9 today. We're also using Jacobean, which, if you guys are a fan of my channel, know we are obsessed with this stain, so we use it all the time, and it's perfect for projects like this. We really feel like you're going to get the impact on this project through the vinyl, so we're going to give just a great color of Jacobean to go in your home. Next up, you would want some staining pads. Today we're just going to use some cheesecloth right here to stain, but I highly recommend a good staining pad. And then right here we have our Arrow Fastener staple gun. This is the best staple gun I've ever used to make a reverse canvas. It doesn't make you have a ton of pressure, just really decent, even pressure. And then next up, what really makes this project go really smooth is we do not worry about the staples that are on the back of your canvas, because we're going to use a True Control knife or any X-Acto knife really to cut that around. So if you guys are excited, let's jump into it. So before we even jump into the Cricut, we have got to prepare our canvas. So what I've went ahead and have is the canvas flipped over, and what we're going to do is we're just going to take the knife and go around the edges, leaving the staple on the inside. So we're going on the outside edge of all the staples, just like this. So apply pressure. You can feel the knife going down into the wood, and you're just going to want to go around the entire corners. And a lot of people say, no, you need to remove the staples. And guys, I promise, we've made so many of these. It's a very unlikely for you to staple where there already are staples, so it's not that big of a deal, and this is going to save you so much time. Honestly, the first few times I made a reverse canvas, I was so unhappy with trying to pluck those staples out. It almost made me not want to make another reverse canvas. So this is definitely save the game, and look at how easy this is. So just like so, we have all 4 sides, and if you apply enough pressure, it's going to be able to snap out. Now the canvas overlaps on the corners, so always give a little extra pressure, but just like right here, you can see it needs just a little bit more. Take that knife and go over it. Just make sure you cut down into the canvas, and it should just be able to pop out just like so. So we got one edge popped, and then this one over here, you can see if it needs a little more. Looks like it will, so that's totally fine. Just taking this, go around all 4 of the edges and the corners. So then we've got these 2 right down here. Just moving them around. And again, you guys can know just to apply a little bit more pressure. But again, it's double layered canvas, so it could take an extra minute, which is fine. And then you're able to pop this out as well, just like so. So, okay, now you have your frame, and then you have the canvas. Why I love using heat transfer vinyl on canvas is because it's a perfect material to be able to adhere it to. And when you use traditional vinyl on canvas, it always ends up falling off. So you want to use the heat transfer vinyl to make sure it stays down really, really well. And it's super awesome. So now we can sit this to the side because we do not have anything ready to apply the vinyl to yet, so we're going to sit this to the side. And now what we're going to do is prepare our stain. Now you want to stir this, but we already have got that taken care of. And then what we're going to do is just open this up, and we are just going to stain the sides. Now, if you want, I also recommend using a paintbrush. I also recommend using paper towel. If you are using a paintbrush, I like to have a paper towel handy to, after you apply it with the paintbrush, to wipe it and to make sure it's dry fairly quickly. Now, in my experience, if you have a hair dryer or heat tool, there's no reason why between a little heating the frame and air dry, by the time your iron-on is ready, it won't already be dry. So that's typically what's worked for us. So let me go ahead and prepare our stain. All right, so all I went ahead and completed was I removed the lid, and now stain, guys, is going to get all over yourself. So I recommend putting on the gloves, taking that extra time to put on gloves so that you're not having to spend a ton of time and using toxic chemicals to clean your skin. So just fair warning, love a good pair of gloves for especially using any type of stain. So now we're just going to take this cheesecloth out, and it's a really great thing to use to stain with. So you have this whole piece, and we can just quickly cut us off a little piece right here to be able to stain with, and use as much or as little as you want. But again, if you're okay using a little bit more paper towel, that is great. But again, traditionally, I would just use a staining pad for the most even coverage. But with this being such a small surface, almost anything will work great. So take our cheesecloth, and we're just going to go ahead and dip it into the stain. And then on each side, we're just going to work it into the frame. You can start with the top. Now, what I love about stain is you're able to get into those details so easily without having to do a lot of work. If this was paint, you would be working into those edges a lot more than with stain. So just dip it, and you're kind of able to go a little crazy because you've got your gloves on. And I just put some paper towel under our frame to protect the work surface. Copy paper works great for that. Just a few sheets will go a long way and save you time from having to clean up later. So just like so, we're going through and staining it. And you're going to want to make sure to get the outside edge and the inside edge. And then what we're going to do is, after we've stained it, we're just going to let it sit, and we'll work on the rest of our project. But you also can heat this with a heat tool, like I've said before, to fasten that process up. All right, so now while we let that dry, we are going to start designing our project. So that it will say Merry Christmas, and we are using the font of your choices to make this amazing project on our heat transfer vinyl. So if you're a Cricut beginner, we are actually working on an iPad today because it's super fun and really easy. So let's go ahead and jump into Cricut Design Space. All right, guys, we're on Cricut Design Space on our iPad, and I've already went ahead and designed what we're using today. Now, here is a tip that I absolutely love and live by. When you are making a font project, I love pairing scripty fonts with more bulky hand-lettered fonts. So this right here, you've got your scripty font, and then you've got kind of a hand-lettered look to pair together. And since we are using 2 different sheets of HTV, we are going to have 2 different shades to reference. So our Merry is this darker heat transfer vinyl. And the reason why we have went ahead and chose to do the pattern vinyl with the thicker font is so that we'll be able to see this pattern just a little bit better than if we chose to do the pattern on the Christmas. So always use thicker fonts when you are using any pattern vinyl or pattern HTV. So for Christmas, our color we're using is this lighter red, just so we can separate them on 2 different mats. And the reason why we need to do that is because glitter has a different setting than our pattern. So you want to be careful about that and do not forget. So you guys may be saying, Tanner, I am super new. How do I get it to here? So that's what I'm going to walk you through today. So again, you can use any font you would like. So all you would need to do is click text, and you would select one of your fonts. So we're going to start with the hardest font to use, which we're just using a scripty font that we love called Spontaneous. And what we're going to top out is Christmas. So just like so, we have it. Now, I always show people the before and after. So this is it before. Definitely looks a ton different than here, but we're going to get it to there. Here's how. So first things first, we want to start under Edit and go to Letter Space. Now, if you're on a desktop, you're going to have all of these same functionalities and features. You are just going to find them in a slightly different space. So just bear with us. And we're just going to select Letter Space and just size it down. I love being able to see all the letters come together and sizing it down. So right here, the last four, TMAS, looks really good, but all the C and the H and whatnot does not look too hot, if you're asking me. So what we need to do is we need to do what is called kerning. We need to kern the font, and that means adjust it manually letter by letter. But again, we have this end part of the word already good to go. So we're going to select Actions, and we are going to ungroup. Now I'm going to bring the Layers panel up so that we can see how to ungroup and what it does. So when we click Ungroup, now each letter is its very own layer. So what we're going to do is zoom in here, and I'm going to first go ahead and move this H. I'm going to move that over. And then, oops, we are now going to move the TMAS, and we're going to move that over. And if you are working on an iPad, this is another fun trick. Click on Settings, and for things like this, it may help or it may hurt, but Smart Guides is really great to help align and position objects on the canvas. So that's what you'll see if there's any like little yellow lines and you're like, where's my yellow lines? You'll want to click Settings and turn that on. But sometimes you're trying to move things a little to a particular spot that you'll want to come over here and turn them off. So either way, they're helpful and sometimes hurtful. So what we're going to do now is we're going to select the C and H. We're just going to move it around. You can zoom in here and really choose where the letter goes. It's super fun. You're able to look at it and say, oh, you know, I can move these two over just a little bit more and it'll look a little bit better. And this is just called kerning. So once you're happy with that, you are going to be able to go ahead and select all of those layers. And if you click on layers, you'll see that they're highlighted gray. So that means they're selected. And once you're happy with it, you're going to be able to press weld. That is going to turn it into one layer that will cut all together. So that's awesome. And now we're going to grab another text box under, this one's called Mary Catherine. And we're going to top out the words Mary. And then you're going to be able to select it and size it as needed. Now today's project, we have about 9 by 12 inches to work with. So that means we need to make sure we size it appropriately. So if we click on layers, this black layer isn't really needed anymore. We just wanted to create that as reference to get you here. So we have 2 different layers and we've already sized it. So right now you can see that we have the width at 11 and the height at 7 for our entire project. So that means it's going to fit into our 12 by 9 frame. So now all we need to do is go ahead and cut these out. And one last thing is, if you're wondering how did I change the colors, all you would want to do is select a layer, and under Edit you'll see Line Type Cut. You can go through and choose any color. This is just for great visualization in the software. So now when we click Make It, it's going to have this right here on 2 separate mats for us ready to get crafty. So what we're going to do now is just go ahead and prepare our vinyl. So we have our Cricut mat. We're going to use a standard grit mat today, and we are just going to lay our material shiny side down onto the mat, just like so. And we're going to be able to cut this out. So we're going to cut Christmas first. And the first thing we want to do when we're going to do this is we want to turn mirror on. So let's go ahead and turn mirror on, and we can click on our other layer and turn mirror on as well. So I like to do that all at once. So now all we need to do is select the material. So I selected all material, and we can type in glitter. And you can see right here we have glitter iron-on. So it's going to allow you to notice to turn mirror on and iron-on material is face or shiny side down onto matte. Now you're going to work with your fine point blade, and we can go ahead and load it into our machine, and then we'll be good to go and cut. So all we've got to do is take our matte and into our machine, load it, and once you're ready to go, you press that flashing Cricut button. So we can press that, and you're going to see that it's going to detect the blade and then cut out for us to then weed. Now that it's cut, all we're going to do is unload the mat, and then a great tip is just to take a craft knife, and you're going to be able to cut off the excess right now, and then be able to remove it so that you're able to actually weed on the mat, which if you're a Cricut beginner, you may have not heard about weeding on the mat, but I am a firm believer that I love to weed on the mat because it's going to be very helpful, and it really does give you a third hand. Let me show you how I do it. So we have it here on the mat, and where it just holds it down, it's going to be great for us to be able to have that third hand when crafting. So we're just going to start up here in a corner, and we're just going to peel this back, just like so, and weed it. And it really does just allow you to have that third hand. If you've never tried it, it gives you a little bit more flexibility to not have to worry about where it's going, because the mat does a lot. And where I'm only touching the transfer for the HTV, it's not, damaging the mat at all, which is really handy. A lot of people sometimes say it could hurt the lifespan of your mat, but as long as you focus on not touching this part, it's, the actual mat, you're gonna be good to go. So then you can just weed out your pieces. And this right here is when it really comes in handy, is when you start getting these pieces out and you need it to stay put. So now all we can do is take this right here, and we're going to just peel it up right off the mat. And now we have this ready to go and use on our canvas. Now all we're going to do is lay our patterned HTV pattern side down onto the mat, and then we're going to change our setting from glitter iron-on to patterned iron-on. So now we've loaded the material into the machine, and then we're going to press the flashing Cricut button and let it cut our final piece. So we've cut the excess off, and now we're just going to weed through this, and it's really awesome weeding pattern iron-on. It's one of my favorite materials to work with because you get such a great effect, and it's really an easy material to work with. A lot of people feel overwhelmed with it, but it's honestly a great beginner material. So now we're able to take this right here and just lift it up, just like so. You have your item, and it looks awesome. So now let's go ahead and start using our Easy Press to apply this down. All right, guys, we've got it all ready to go, and here's a few tips. So what I love about reverse canvas is you do not have to worry about making sure everything is perfectly straight when you're just working with the canvas. And the reason why is because the frame is actually going to be moved, so you're able to position the canvas and have a little bit extra room when placing your material down. So I've just placed it down, and this is just, testing wise. So you're just going to look at it and make sure you like it. But again, we're going to have to apply one layer at a time because our transfer tapes overlap. So we don't want you to, we want to make sure it's hitting the material. So that's why we recommend one material at a time. And they actually require different settings. So we'll go ahead and use our pattern first. And on the back of your pack, you have the actual settings we need. So for our patterned, we are going to use 305 for 15 seconds. So we can go ahead and turn on our heat source, and we're just going to set that at 305 and let it heat up. After it's heated up, we are going to be able to preheat it and then hit it for the time allotted. So we only need to hit it for 15 seconds on our canvas, and then we'll be able to apply our second layer down. So let's go ahead and wait for this to heat up. Okay, so it's already heated up, so we're just going to take it and we're just going to preheat this for a few seconds, and then we're going to be able to apply our material down. So the preheating just helps it make sure there's no wrinkles, and then we're going to be able to lay this down, and then we're going to hit it just like so. And where it's going to have two pieces, we're going to be able to just hit it twice. So just let that time down, and then we'll be able to pick it up and move it. A big tip when using an easy press is to give even, firm pressure, and do not use a traditional iron movement. You want to leave it flat and then move up and over. You don't want to give any potential of your iron-on or HTV to move, and when if you did the iron movements, that would allow it to move. So nice firm pressure and whatnot. So now we're going to be able to lift this up just like so. A lot of people like to hit the back of a project. That's debatable. If you would like to, you can feel free. We're using what they have from Cricut called an Easy Press mat. So that's pretty cool. It kind of sends that heat up anyway, so that kind of has eliminated a lot of that for me. I can kind of see some bubbles that it's adhered to our canvas, and you can just peel this back and look at how awesome this looks. I love it. Now, a big tip is, since we're doing 2 layers, save this right here. So then grab your second layer, lay this out just like so, even it up on the sides, lay this down, and this is our glitter. So then we get to reference our sheet, our little sheet for the glitter, and we know that we need it on a little bit warmer temperature. So you can go ahead and set that to 325 for glitter, and then we're going to let that heat up, and we'll be able to hit this. So while that's heating up, we're just going to apply this extra piece from our Mary on down, and what that's going to do is it's actually going to protect the heat transfer vinyl, that's the pattern, from hitting the iron or the heat press. So either a heat press or easy press, you do just want to protect all the materials. So what I love, again, is you can see that for the glitter, you have your setting right here, and you're able to set it and just reference the back of here for all the materials in the pack. So that little ding let us know that it is heated up. So now we can just go ahead and hit the glitter. And we're just heating that glitter. And again, HTV works really well on any of this, so it's really good. We're just gonna let that time down. All right, so now we can lift that up, and you can just let this, I like to kind of fan it out for a minute. Some of your material, you can learn, does better with a warm peel or a cool peel. We have different videos on that referencing it. If you guys have questions on it, you can check out some things on our channel. And then you can just peel this back, and you can see it's good to go. Now, if you see any extra glitter, that's totally fine. You're going to be able to wipe that off, and it's not permanent, so do not feel worried about that at all. And then one of the last steps, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to take our frame back in, and we're going to align it up. And then once you're happy with the positioning of it, what you're going to do is hold it and flip it over just like so. I'm actually going to remove this mat out of the way, and then you're just going to then be able to take your staple gun, and we're actually going to staple those edges. So the tips here would be to hold tight just like so, and bring it down, and staple one side, and then pull on the other side and staple, and then start here and then pull over here. So now what we're going to do is flip it over and make sure we're still happy with it before we get too many more staples down. If you're still happy with it, you're going to be able to flip it back over and just repeat putting those staples all over. So I like to start in the edges, the corners, and then work our way in. So once you've stapled all the different sides down, what we're going to do is we're going to take the craft knife once again, and we're going to start cutting right here and do that outside once again. So that's a little extra space for you guys that you don't even need to worry about. So this is another, great way. You can use scissors, but really it's just not necessary. So you can then just be able to peel